Welcome back to Creating with Mimi. Today's video is all about the top 5 design tips that you can use for a small space. I can't wait. Let's get started. The problem with small spaces is we're still decorating them as though we are in college dorm rooms or small apartment spaces. And even though we're switching up, it may be a small home, it may be an apartment on the East Coast, New York, which is considered a home or a house on the West Coast. But we're still in that small mentality for dorm-like style, trying to fit everything in the space. That's problem number 1. And that's why your space looks cluttered, unattached, and just nothing coming together. Tip number 1 for a small space is you need to create consistency throughout a small space. So irregardless of the color, the walls, the ceiling, the trim, it all needs to be the same color. It can be light walls, it can be dark walls, but it does need to all be the same. As you can see in some of these rooms, the walls are all dark, and the space still looks warm, it still looks inviting, and the dark walls do not make a space look small. Contrary to belief back before, if you paint a room dark, the room's gonna look small. That's not the case anymore, because you can paint a room dark on the walls, the outside of it, but the furniture is light. So we're creating contrast. As we know with Creating with Mimi, creating contrast adds that interest, it adds that value, it adds that coziness and the warmth that I think you guys are looking for. If your walls are all light, your furniture is light, then you're gonna wanna add little punches of color on the pillows or ottoman or the lamps. Accent color is going to bring that room together, because the biggest part about this is creating contrast. If your trim, your doors, your walls are all the same color, there are no lines breaking that up. So your eye is just gonna float and it's gonna travel throughout the room seamlessly. If you decide to paint your walls, 3 walls one color, and then 1 wall, the back wall or the feature wall, a different color, it's gonna break the room up and it's gonna make it look choppy. And therefore you have lost all consistency and your room is going to look small. If you take a small room and then you chop it up into different areas, it's going to seem cluttered. In a small space, the floor should be uniform. It should be the same color throughout the small space, except in areas like a bathroom. Even in a kitchen, you want to try to keep this color the same on the floor throughout the kitchen. And it's okay if you've got hardwood down in the living room, you can place hardwood down in the kitchen and you'll be fine. I always tell clients, place a rug in front of the sink, and that way you don't have to worry about damaging the floor with water spots, or another rug or runner type rug in front of the stove, or an area where kids are going to be trafficking a lot. And that way you can save your floor. The rug could add a different texture tone to the space since everything is the same. And then with texture, we're creating a variety, we're creating contrast. So those are tricks that you can use if you have a wood floor in the kitchen. You want to draw your eye up in a space. If it's a small space, and let's say we have a focal point or a fireplace, place something above that fireplace so that when you walk in a small space, your eye is immediately going to go to that back wall, that back focal point, and it draws your eye up and it makes the space seem expansive. One of the most important tips in a small room is furniture scale. I don't know how many times I've seen an oversized sofa in a very, very small, tight space. If you have a room that's 10 by 10, 10 feet by 10 feet in square feet, and that's your living room area, then you want to try to opt out for a love seat. The extra additional seats that you may need, you can place one chair, and it should be an appropriate size armchair if you choose, or you can choose chairs like this with no arms. You can place two of these chairs opposite side of the sofa, and then you still have room for an ottoman on each side of the cocktail table. So furniture scale is super, super important when you're working in a small space so that it doesn't seem too crowded. Ottoman, since it's a small space and we're talking about furniture, it's going to be used for seating. It could be used to store things because you can get an ottoman where you can put pillows inside of it, you can put books inside of it, puzzles inside of that ottoman. You can also get an ottoman like this one where you have a hard surface top, and that can double up as a table. So we're trying to do things to maximize function in a small space, but not lose the aesthetic value. In most small spaces, we're going to have a small kitchen as well. Think of things, instead of a large rectangular kitchen table, think about a bistro table, or you can do a pub table. If you're young and you want to have that bar-like atmosphere, that would give you a great area. You can sit tall, and so a person can sit in that chair and see over someone that's in a different area or the living room. I love this table. It's a small round table, and it can be utilized for a dining room. If you like this video and you like the type of content there is, go ahead and hit that like button. It does help with the algorithm so that more people can see the video. If you choose to want to see more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Back to small spaces and tips that are going to help you. Forget about the traditional coffee table or cocktail table. They make so many gorgeous tables that are cluster tables. They're smaller tables. You can move the tables around, and it's more of a transitional style. If you want something that's a little bit more traditional, then I suggest utilizing something like this. If your space is ultra small and you've got to get a living area, dining room, and bedroom area in a space, to consider a day bed. Another option that you can use is these lovely headboards behind the bed. They're storage units that are behind the bed, and it's a part of the bed. It only takes up about 1 foot from the wall, and this would be great because if you have an ultra small space, storage is going to be at a premium. So you always want to think about how you're going to maximize the storage, and I love this. If you're in a small space and you do need to have a sense of privacy at some point, you don't like your bedroom in the common area with everyone else, consider some of these dividers. Absolutely love them. I love the glass and the metal type divider that you can put in the space because it doesn't break the eye up too much. You can still see through. And this is a very contemporary, transitional type of decor item. It's a beautiful piece, so you can consider some of these. If you don't have the option to put something a little bit more permanent as the glass dividers, consider some of these standalone dividers. This one is made out of rattan. It functions for color, it functions for texture, and it gives you the privacy that you need. If we're working from home, and most of us still are working from home, you may have an area that you want to just kind of carve out for an office. These dividers would be great for that as well. Last tip, make use of all the space, including vertical space. You could have a wall desk. It can be storage and it can be desk, and it's going up against the wall. So that's your vertical space. I hope you enjoyed some of the tips that I shared with you today. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button or press subscribe. Until the next time, make every day a great day.